All right. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. I am about to add us to the Instagram. If you'll give us 1 second. That we Okay. All right. Thank you for joining me today. And I hope you guys all had a happy new year. Sorry, we're a little bit late. I'm still trying to figure out how to link to the Instagram onto our live streaming platform. So bear with me while I figure that out. We're all good. Live on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and all of these things will be posted and shared there. So if you missed today or you've got to cut out early, you can go back and record it there. So today, I'm really, really excited. We are talking about what I have done every year since the beginning. Not the beginning. I learned this practice from my business coach, Nick Gaberlini, and I have used that with my clients for years. It's a one-page simple business plan, and it's just been so helpful. So every year since probably 2011, I have this business plan, one-page business plan that I can go back to, and it's really helpful in just seeing how far I've come. If you watch my live from before the new year, I think it was we skipped 1 week, but whatever, the last live that I did, I talked about the 4 things that I see successful people do at year-end, and one of them is evaluating the year prior, giving yourself a pat on the back for what you have accomplished, and creating a plan for moving forward. So today we're talking in detail about that plan and what it looks like, and I'm gonna share screen. I believe that this will work, um, for both the Instagram, now that we're on the same. Okay, so this is our template for the business plan if you wanna take screenshots and make your own, or you can email me and I'll send you a copy of this at anna@mora.com. But this is the business plan. The first section we're gonna talk about today is the theme and the guidelines and the financial, but it goes on to having, I guess 1 page wouldn't be totally accurate. It is 2 pages. Um, but let's talk about this theme here, and you wanna pick your mantra for the year. Uh, what what's inspiring? Like, what is this year gonna be about for you? Um, it could be anything, but make sure that it has positive language in it. Um, I don't know if it's flickering for you guys, but it's flickering on my end. If it is, I'm sorry. I'm trying to look into, I think it's my connection for the camera. Anyway, you want to, like, you don't wanna say, "This year, I'm not going to, uh, feel sorry for myself." You want it to switch the language to say, "This year is the year of abundance where I practice gratitude for who I am." So do you see how that feels better? It feels better when we're not focusing on what we're not gonna do, we're not using the negative language, but we're using the more positive. I'm trying to figure out if I can fix this camera. I think it's okay. I'll fix it for next time, you guys. If it's driving you crazy, I'm really sorry. Um, so we don't wanna focus on what you're not gonna do, but we're gonna focus on what you wanna do. What is the positive flip side of what you wanna leave behind, don't want in your next year? So focusing on the positive for your mantra. The next section that we have is the is focusing on the 3 to 4 tasks that you want to focus on first. So do this section last. Go ahead and fill out the rest of the template, and then pick what are your first priorities that you want to work on first. Before you can make $1 million, you've got to break it down into the steps. I need to create an Instagram. I need a Shopify website. So what are the things that are going to get you to those bigger goals? And what do you want to focus on first? So that is the first section. Leave this to the end. I also date this. So that way I'm not making the business plan and then not looking at it again for a full year. So keep it and look at it every quarter. And you may want to change it when that first quarter comes up. You may have things on there that for whatever reason are no longer valid or are no longer a goal of yours. Part of being a really great business owner is being able to identify and let things go. I know that there's an attitude like never give up. Once I set a goal, like I have to do it. Always, always, always like push forward. And I don't believe that that is really the case. Um, Let me stop sharing. I think what's really helped me be a business owner and the people I know is being able to let go of something if it's not working. And putting something on there really feels, and I'm going to give an example of this because it's helpful when I give specific examples. But when I started with Mora, I also had a clothing line, and I did that for 3 seasons. And I'm sorry, 2 seasons. By the third season, on my to-do, it was something that I was like, I have to do this. This is, I have to design the next season. I must move forward. And I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And finally, I had to reevaluate, like, why do I keep putting this off? Like, what about designing my third season am I procrastinating? And what was really going on was I wasn't inspired to be doing my own collection. And I was really loving working with the clients. And you guys were fulfilling my day. You were fulfilling not only my day with work, but also like helping other people and helping people grow and being able to create the samples at the time I was doing was really what I wanted to do. I liked creating the samples. I liked the business aspect a little bit more than the creative. That's why I like working with creatives is something that I love to do because while I am creative, I'm more business minded. So for me to be able to pair up with a creative and kind of fill in where you guys can help is ideal. And being able to evaluate and figure out like, oh, okay, um, this is really why I'm not looking forward to designing my third season. So I let that go and I took that off of my goal sheet because it wasn't valid. It wasn't something that I wanted to pursue. And I I feel like being able to identify that and let it go and not feel guilty and not have this feeling of failure is really, really important as a business owner because while that's a really specific example, there are other things that I was like gung-ho and like, this is the direction, this is what I wanna do, this is where I wanna go. And then for whatever reason, I tried it, it wasn't working, people weren't really responding to it, or for whatever the reason, it wasn't the right choice. I thought it was, but it wasn't when I started implementing it, or I was procrastinating, pushing it off, pushing it off, pushing it off, and come to find out there is an underlying issue as to why I'm doing that. So be mindful of that. And when you pick up this business plan every quarter, if there is something on there, it might be something as simple as like, this is a job you need to delegate. Because do we all love doing our QuickBooks? I personally do, but for a lot of creatives and designers, that is not how your brain works. You don't wanna look at a spreadsheet. It doesn't inspire you. So that might be somewhere where you're like, "Okay, I needed to start my QuickBooks and upload all my accounts and get everything going, and I haven't done that. Why? Well, this isn't really where my strengths lie, but it is something that has to be done. So I'm gonna look for a bookkeeper or see if my accounting firm can take over the monthly bookkeeping, things like that. So if there is something that's lingering on there that you're not doing, you're procrastinating, really being self-aware enough to identify why is really, really important as a business owner. So keep that in mind when you're picking this up every quarter. I'm gonna keep, like, switching back from screen sharing to not screen sharing because I want you guys to see this template, and like I said, either make your own or you can email me. But the next section is this guidelines section, and the guidelines are things to do that take care of yourself so you can take care of your business. And every section here has a mantra. So again, like, an example of a mantra here, this is the year that I am going to shine and feel confident in myself for whatever it is. But again, keeping it in that positive language, and then the guidelines are the things that you have to do to take care of yourself so you can take care of business. Now, I am going to be filling this out on my own as well. I have a 15-month-old at home. Well, I'm at now, but I have a 15-month-old. I'm 6 months pregnant now. I'm so busy, I can't even keep track. I'm pregnant. So I have not been doing my guidelines whatsoever. Um, so mine are gonna go back to the basics. Like, I think if I can shower every day. I showered today, don't worry. That would be a goal, but, like, for me, like, yeah, it used to be, um, where I'd wake up every morning and wanna do 30 minutes of meditation and go to yoga and, like, do the gym and eat a green smoothie and prepare and cook all my meals. My life doesn't look like that anymore, unfortunately. So I'm gonna go back to the basics and try and shower. That's gonna be my guideline. I usually shower. I'm just using it as an example of, like, what my guidelines used to look like now are different. But I also am gonna be adding family time, spending time one-on-one with my baby and doing family outings. Like, those are the things that are important for me to be doing so that I can show up for my business and show up for my baby. So being able to prioritize what those things look like. I don't know, maybe next week, this is a two-part. Maybe next week I'll let you know what I have decided my guidelines are gonna be. So I'm giving myself homework, keeping myself accountable to filling this section out of what are my guidelines going to be. But this is something where, and I feel it now because it's like things get really hard. Things get really decisions are going against the grain, and everything feels like, "Oh gosh, now I have to do this." Like, everything feels overwhelming. I'm feeling overwhelmed, and things feel heavy, and everything is challenging. And, like, yes, a lot of this new moms, I'm sure you can relate, like, part of the transition of new moms is just that. But I do know that that is a sign that I'm not doing my guideline. I'm not, um, taking a quiet time before I automatically jump into my day and start work and take care of the baby and, like, do all of those things, and I'm not I'm not doing the things that help me stay level-headed, that help me stay calm. So, being able to identify that and say, like, "Oh, yeah, I would this year, I'll have new guidelines." Last year, I had a 3-month-old. I honestly have to look. It might have been the first year ever that I didn't do this business plan. I'm gonna look, but it might have been. Um, I was just, like, in survival mode. We didn't have a good sleeper. Anyway, My point is I'm here with you. We are doing the guidelines together. We are doing this business plan together. But yes, I can feel it like tighten up, things get challenging. I am just trying to like get things done and I'm in survival mode. So having this list to go back to be like, okay, well, here are the 5 things that I told myself that I was do to take care of myself so I could take care of the business. And that could be as simple as like going for a walk outside. So yesterday I went for a walk outside. We brought the baby, the dog, my husband came. I wouldn't say it was like the most relaxing, but it did get me outside and in nature, and that is helpful. So taking a walk, um, whatever that looks like for you, it could be meditation, it could be going to the gym, it could be going for a run, knowing that in this moment, I have to actually step back and step away from my business so that I can come back and feel more inspired, more clear-footed. And it feels counterintuitive because when you're feeling like this, it's like, I just have to work, 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 work. I just have to get through this. I have to, I have to go, 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 go. And it's actually the opposite. Like when I feel like this, I have to step back, go to the gym, maybe go to a float tank, do something that I can clear my head. And then I come back and everything that I thought was hard is simple. And I like breeze through it. So I am speaking from a place. Normally I'm like, you can do it. Like everything's great. But in this moment, I know that I need to go back to my guidelines. So hopefully by next week, I can tell you what I've done, uh, how I've written my guidelines, and I'll be in the space of flow over the space of overwhelm. But this helps. It always helps. So being able to figure out what your guidelines are, to just go back to them when you're feeling that angst, to pick out like, okay, this is what I want to focus on, or I'm going to take 30 minutes and I'm going to cook like have lunch, or I sit down and I turn off my computer and I turn off my phone and I'm gonna have lunch for 30 minutes. Maybe you're gonna go out to lunch. Maybe you're gonna go sit at a coffee shop for 30 minutes. Whatever it is, it will help. It will make you feel better. Then you can come back and everything will feel easier and better moving forward. All right, so we want to pick 5 of those guidelines, whether whatever they look like. Again, um, try not to use the language of like, "I'm not going to sleep past 9 a.m." Maybe it's, "I will wake up every morning early to start my day, to have some quiet time with coffee." So, being careful of your language that it's not the "I won't," "I'm not going to," I don't," those sort of things. Flip it to what it is that you want. What it is that because you can just hear it, like, it just feels better, like, when you say, "I'm gonna wake up every morning before 9 to have some quiet time and drink my coffee or watch the sunrise," whatever that is. Um, so being careful of the language, also making sure that it's something actionable, like, you can do it, you can get up from your desk and you can do it. Um, I'm trying to think of an example that wouldn't necessarily be staying positive. Staying positive, yes, you wanna stay positive, but that is a little bit vague. In the moment when you're, like, feeling overwhelmed, telling yourself to stay positive isn't really helpful, or it isn't to me. I'm just like, "Yeah, I know I'm supposed to stay positive. I'm not feeling positive." So, writing a gratitude list of 5 things that you're grateful for, that would be a way to make that actionable. So that would help, um to keep it something that, like, you can get up from your desk and do. It's something that is, um, actionable, yeah. And I'm looking, I have notes, I just want to make sure that I covered all of them. Yeah, alright. So I'm gonna come back to share screen for the next section. So the next section here we have is the financial. So, again, we wanna have a mantra to remind you all is well. It could be money comes to me and flows abundantly. Um, something that is you can repeat yourself. Let's see. Did I have an example? Something like, I choose to live my life in abundance where all is provided to me and there is enough. That's great. So it could just be something of like, there is enough. So if you're feeling stressed about money, something that you can tell yourself, a mantra that you want to repeat to yourself that will help you relax that a little bit. For the financial goals, again, we want to make them specific. We want to make them tangible, like just having put money in savings. That one isn't, uh, it's like, yeah, a dollar, 50 cents, $100,000. Like, how much do you want to put in savings per month? Like, put a goal down for all of these. They should be not too comfortable. Like, you want to have just a little bit of a stretch. Like maybe you want to save $100 a month, but like maybe you can do it to 110. Having a little bit of a stretch with all of these goals, but to where it's still maintainable. It's not, uh, it's not so astronomical. Like if you put down there, I want to make $10 million, what I'm going to ask is like, okay, very specifically, you've got to break that down so that you have those goals that you can make all those millions of dollars. So making sure that they're attainable, but like a slight stretch is where we want to be. That's the like sweet spot for all of these goals. So doing that, and for a new business, I'm going to throw out some examples of financial goals. The QuickBooks, having some sort of system to track your finances, having a separate bank account for your business transactions. Are you going to be hiring employees, setting up your um, budget for supplies, production, anything else that you will need. If so, budget, having a costing template that you use for your uh, prices for retail and wholesale. Are you going to be accepting credit cards? So looking into merchant service accounts. Are you going to have credit cards? So looking into what kind of business credit card you want to take. And yeah, those are just some examples of, as a new designer, what some of your business goals could look like. All right, so then next, I'm going to talk about the marketing. So mantra again, everyone should know my name. This year I really break out. All of these things could work as mantras for you. And 5 goals for the marketing could be, if you're brand new, it could be getting an Instagram account, having a website, researching 50 hashtags that I'm gonna want to use for my social platform, um, coming up with topics for 20 blogs and writing the first 10, um, having an email list for your blogs to go out to. Um, yeah, all of those are examples of um, marketing. So again, tangible things you can cross off. Build an Instagram audience would be too vague. That isn't something like, how many people? Do you have a goal for how many people that you want to? And then breaking it down of like, how are you going to get that Instagram? What are you going to, how are you going to encourage your followers? So if you have all of this done, and this is maybe your second or third year, things that you want to think about are maybe you're going to have, you're going to do a partnership with other designers. You're going to do a pop-up shop. Maybe you're going to do a trade show. Maybe you want to write out more blogs consistently. Maybe you, I don't know, there's like a million things. So having tangible goals and things that you can work off. And then again, remember, we're going to go through all of the financial, the marketing, and then the the topics that we're talking about next week, and you'll pick out what ones are the most important. So that is what I have for today. So in review, you're going to set your mantra for the year. You're going to set 5 guidelines that you want to follow that will help you relax, that will help you be more clear-headed. When things are against the grain, you can go back to these guidelines and be like, oh, well, I'm not doing any of these. No wonder I feel overwhelmed. So the guidelines, then we want to talk about the financial. What are your financial goals? And the last section is marketing. So there's 3 more sections. We're going to go over those next week. And as always, I'm Anna Livermore, owner of Mora, and we help launch fashion designers. Anything that you need, we do patterns, samples, tech packs. I also help with strategy if you're looking to do a one-on-one and building the business plan together and making the goals. I love doing that. So you can reach out to us at vmora.com. There is a place I offer a complimentary 20-minute strategy session. So you can book with me for 20 minutes, talk more if you have any specific questions. Also, like, post your questions. You can post them on any of the, wherever you're watching here, because I will be doing the Q&A, so we'll get to those questions. But in the meantime, thank you so much, and I will see you next week for part 2 of goal setting.